Welcome. Well, come.
Welcome.
Well, come already. It's been 30 seconds already. What do you mean you're not ready to come?
It's been.
Are you not playing that game? You won't last 30 seconds. Have you ever played one of those games?
I have not, so I don't know
Never
whether
clicked
or not
on one
I
of
can
those
last
links?
5 minutes or not with playing those games.
I mean, do you ever last 5 minutes anyway?
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah. All the time. 6,
All the
7. I've even done 8.
5.5.
5 3/4.
5 3/4.
5 minutes and 50 seconds. I got a stopwatch, baby. Always keeping time. So, my name is Britt.
And I am Pat.
Welcome to Soy Trek, a podcast about Star Trek, but with penises.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and actually, it's why the soundtrack was playing. I found just so happened to find a really big brain take on Star Trek on Twitter.
Please.
Hear it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear this.
So a man named John Del Eros, who, according to his bio, is the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction. He said, Star Trek is inherently right-wing property as its core premise is about expansionism, manifest destiny, and colonizing the stars.
Yeah, okay, I saw this earlier, and apparently this guy has, unsuccessfully pitched, a ton of Star Trek stuff. And he's just, a failed guy who's, a right-winger and wants his favorite show to be right-wing.
Yes. That's what I'm guessing, because, at first I thought, he was, making fun of Star Trek, but it seems he's a fan, but he's also extremely right-wing.
Yeah, Star Trek, it's not, it's definitely not inherently conservative. If you're a conservative, you can like it, because there's things in there for conservatives to like. You know, it's good entertainment. It's got, good morals. Sometimes it errs on the side of liberalism, sometimes even leftism, but not a lot of Star Trek. A lot of it's just space adventures.
Oh, yeah, it's lots of space adventures and just, the exploration of humanity and just, what, human nature.
Yeah, exactly. It's the exploration of man through the lens of space and aliens.
Yes.
Because that's what Gene Roddenberry was all about, was exploration. Sexual exploration. Sexploration. So, if you'd like to support us, please go to patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. That's dumb idiot BS, like bullshit, but not spelled out because they wouldn't let us.
Yeah, no.
That's a cool way to support us. Also, listening to our other podcasts. We got the Media Dungeon. We've got Dumb Idiot Bullshit, which might be becoming my wife. I don't know. We're figuring that out right now.
Yeah.
And when I say it might be becoming my wife, that might be very confusing because you're like, what, you gonna put a ring on that podcast? No, I had another idea for a podcast where we just talk about guys' wives, and we might be doing that instead.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
But you can also marry it. You can be the first person to ever marry a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that's the slippery slope conservatives were talking about. They're like, if you let a man marry another man, that's a slippery slope. Next you'll get a man want to marry a podcast.
You know what? I think we should just do that. I think we should give them that slippery slope. I think you should marry the podcast, and that way, then they can point to you as that you made it come true.
Right.
You
married to the game, also, baby. Oh.
Didn't you incorporate Dumb Idiot BS?
Yeah, it's incorporated.
So it's a person. So it has all the rights inherent to a person. So marry it.
Right. I mean, if it's a person though, it has to consent. Right? How can it consent? I mean, I guess I am the sole proprietor of it, and I control it, and so I can make it consent. But making something consent, I don't know if that's consent, right, brother?
Hey, I guess it goes by like, I mean, I think it will, since like the decisions of corporations boil down to, the its shareholders, and you're the primary shareholder.
Right. I mean, if the shareholders want it to have sex with me, then it's
and
fiduciarily required to have sex with me.
It's legally required.
Right.
Well, the shareholders have voted. And so yeah, that's so yeah, you can make it happen. Yeah, we need to have a much longer moral discussion about like having sex with corporations. I feel like it's not really been touched on, No, it hasn't. That's like fresh territory.
Yeah. I'm surprised like fucking that Lex Friedman character hasn't had an episode on it, or Joe Rogan.
Yeah, or Peter Thiel or Elon Musk have, married their corporations.
Yeah. So today we're here to talk about Star Trek Discovery. Yeah, Star Trek Discovery. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty good on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my favorite.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Star Trek Discovery, Episode 2 from Season 5, Under the Twin Moons. This episode first aired the 4th of April, 2024, and it's the 57th episode so far in Discovery. This one was written by Alan McElroy, who has written 5 episodes of Discovery, and he also wrote Halloween 4. He wrote the movie Spawn. He wrote the movie X vs. Sever. He wrote Wrong Turn and Tekken. Yeah, so he's an accomplished writer at making bad films. And then this one was directed by Doug Arnikowski, which is so Polish. It's uncomfortable. He's directed 5 episodes of Discovery, 5 episodes of Picard, and also directed Highlander Endgame.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
one of your personal favorites.
Certainly. He also wrote Puppet Master 4 and 5.
Oh hells yeah!
Yeah. All right, we ready to dive into this bad boy?
Yeah, why not?
Captain's personal log. Stardate doesn't matter. Too long. Didn't read. For millennia, philosophers and scientists have wrestled with the same big questions. What is our purpose? Why are we here? What does it all mean? I always thought I knew. The mission, that's my purpose. That's why I'm here. That was always enough. But lately it's not, and I don't know why. We're on a search for one of the greatest powers ever known, the very thing that created us. I can't help but wonder, once we find it, once I understand it, is that where I'll find the answers? Is that how things make sense again? So, okay, whatever.
This is that feels like the opening of like a very bad college essay.
It does. It's either that or like, I was born in this year, and then they just copy off the Wikipedia article of what happened during that year. It's,
philosophers say, just right. Kind of having like the window for like the word count up, and then just like typing and watching the word count fill up and be like, yes, I got it.
Yeah, this is almost written by AI.
Honestly, I was getting that sense, also I think with the last episode, I was getting a lot of like, it felt like, improving while playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's just like, what's the shopkeep's name? Fred. And
yep. Fred? Just Fred.
and it just felt like that sort of like banter. I was just like, okay. But.
So outside, a robot cleans the ship from the avalanche in the last episode while Saru comes in. He tells her they're about ready to go, and Saru is sad it's his last day there. But first, there's a tribunal about the avalanche and how the Antares captain, Raynor, almost killed a bunch of people. Burnham's trying not to answer their questions about the morality of the situation, but they convince her to, and she speaks out against the captain.
And this like honestly felt, I mean, they gave Raynor basically
free
diplomatic
reign.
immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, a complete immunity to do whatever was necessary to get this thing. Like, Korvik was basically saying, you can kill whoever you need to, you can do whatever you want, but we need this thing. It's imperative that you get it under any circumstance. And that's exactly what he did. And at no point are they like questioning Korvik when he's honestly the one that, and also the admirals are the one who basically approved this mission in the first place. So this honestly falls on their shoulders, doesn't fall on Raynor's shoulders. He was doing what he felt was like.
This is a PR tribunal, is what it is.
Yeah, it's a PR tribunal. Yeah.
Raynor defends himself, but the president and Admiral Vance are very pissed. The president calls a break. Raynor says they're wasting time, and Burnham says the world is bigger than them. Vance calls Burnham for a walk and talk. He suggests she get a new crew manifest for her new addition to the crew. Guess who it is? Guess who the big reveal is? It's the same from the last episode as Cleveland Booker again. We got Book. Great. Cool. Love that, how they just like every episode they're like, hey, there's this mystery person, cut to Book again. I hope they do it in the next episode. It'd be so funny.
And it's just like, yeah, it does keep pushing them, and it's complete juiceless combination. Like, it's just them like having these very overwrought conversations about what they are every single time they're together, and it's just like, all right, we get it. We got this last season, the season before that. It's this, we don't need this constant like, what are we type discussion going on every single episode.
Yeah, this is what happens when all of your writers are either philosophy or English or psychology undergrads.
Yeah. And because honestly, like, yeah, you look at other long-term relationships that have occurred on Star Trek, like, it didn't become like the central focus of every single episode. Like, it had like some sort of banter, but I don't know. I mean, I just hope we don't have to. I mean, I think you were hoping in the last one you were saying you're hoping like this is the end that we're going to see of this sort of like dynamic between them, but I think it was just the beginning. Which they just had to like, they just had to start it. They just had to have a reason to start it from zero again, so they could just do the same exact story arc.
They've played it out for 2 seasons. Like, we've already gotten so much of this. We don't need more of it. Like, I'd rather
we need it for another time.
I'd rather see Book go on some like adventures trying to help refugees or something like that, or Book dealing with like refugees, like, and like a bunch of xenophobes, like not wanting refugees to be in their country, and him taking a stand against that or something. There's tons of stuff they could do with him. I kind
of hate that he's kind of has this opinion that he's sort of like powerless in this situation. Like, he's just like, he said in the last episode, I basically go where the Federation tells me to. And
even though he defected from the Federation and did not go where they told him to last season.
Yeah, he sort of has this sort of like hangdog type, like, well, guess I'll do whatever they say.
I guess now he feels like he's their prisoner, and he's like, because he's still like, I feel like on a probation or something. I hope. I don't know. I imagine he has like an ankle monitor, and he can, he can't go back to his old like wheeling and dealing ways unless it's under the Federation purview.
Yeah, it seems. I don't know. It seems unjust in a way, almost, where they just kind of like have this so much control over him, and especially in this sort of like future setting. But so
Book's setting up his new quarters. Burnham comes in and briefs Booker on their mission, Book on their mission, and tells him it's Saru's last mission. Book calls him Action Saru, and then him and Michael have a moment. Burnham walks out and puts the ship on black alert, and they go to warp. And she also gives him like this laser mouse thing, like, and he's like, oh, my cat doesn't like toys, and she's like, it's for you. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I did like how I do feel like they had to explain away like why the cat wasn't reacting to it, is because like, added it in post, but it's just funny, like the cat shows no reaction to it, which is like, any cat would just be like all over that thing.
So we get the opening credits finally. after over 10 minutes, and it didn't say a whole lot. I mean, it had the tribunal beginning, but that was like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I felt it was trying to do like a traditional Star Trek court episode, but
that's not like the focus of the episode, really. It is
and
not really.
Yeah, it was too short, and also I thought the president was involved.
That was strange, right? With like military matters. Yeah.
I mean, I get that the Federation has kind of just like been reformed, so like they don't have that sort of like a lot of like the manpower that would typically oversee these type of situations.
So one thing that would make sense, I think, is if it was like a Senate or something like that, or a House of Representatives or something, a Congress that like called him before them, and they're like, "Why'd you do this?" And he's like, "I can't explain. My mission's confidential." And they're like, "You almost killed all these people." He's like, that would make sense.
Also, he didn't have almost kill the people that they were chasing did.
Yeah, but there was a 30% chance what he was doing was going to kill the people, and he took that risk. So they were mad at that.
Kirk has done so much more with lower percentages of success, and gotten away scot-free. And to actually have like the president oversee your trial, it's kind of absurd for him being ordered to get this thing by any means necessary, doing by any means necessary, and then being punished for it.
Because Admiral Vance seems to know about this, and he's still pissed about it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Admiral Vance is like probably the most clued in person here. Besides like Kovich. And like, I don't know. So when we come back, Discovery arrives at Larak. Tilly reveals that the hint in the diary referring to something under twin moons corresponds to a specific region there. Adira reports the uninhabited Class M planet was used as a burial ground by the now extinct Promolarians. Saru wonders why Dr. Velik would hide something in an ancient necropolis that was last explored over a century before he was born. Tilly reports that she has found no sign of La'ak or Maul, yet she cannot be sure without full knowledge of their cloaking abilities. She promises they will keep their eyes peeled, even though she finds that disgusting if she thinks about it, and I hated that dialogue. Saru, realizing their beam-down coordinates are far from the targeted area, prompts Tilly to explain that the structure is covered by a large electromagnetic field preventing their transport. While Burnham orders security on standby, she wants no one else to beam down unless necessary, as to disturb what she considers a sacred space. Which I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Like, you're already beaming down there. Like, you're allowed to trample this sacred ground, but no one else. Like, that's a weird attitude to have.
Yeah, I mean, they had no qualms about entering 800-year-old Romulan ship and stealing stuff from it, like the last episode.
Yep.
It's just like basically treating it like Swiss cheese, just shooting holes all through it.
So, ready to beam down, Burnham turns to Saru and says, "Last dance." Saru replies that he will follow her lead, and the two materialize on the planet. Saru performs a scan for La'ak and Maul, but finds no life forms in the area. As they leave to make their way to a large pyramid, Burnham excitedly states, "Power of creation, here we come. Soy." Back on board Discovery, Hugh, Dr. Culber, welcomes Booker aboard with a hug. And I'm like, were these two ever close? I don't remember that, but all right.
I think he therapized him in the last season, right?
Was it last season? But then he fucking turned on the Federation. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone just forgives Book, and it's so weird. I don't get it. Like he's not weird with anyone except for Burnham.
Yeah, and this is again more like the disingenuous therapy speak that's prevalent throughout this whole series. Is just like, he's like, Book, how are you? And he's just like, well, I've been working with the refugees. He's like, no, I didn't ask what you were doing. I asked, how are you? And
yeah,
it's like, shut up.
Yeah, right.
It's just like,
Yeah, it's like someone's like, "Hey, what's up?" And we're like, "Oh, not much." No, I asked what's up. Like, don't do that to me, man. Like, I might have deflected intentionally. I probably know what you asked. I just don't want to tell you. Or like, "Hey, how are you?" All right. Like, I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Yeah, he's like asking him how, like, to unfurl a bunch of emotional baggage on it, like in public, in a place where he may not feel comfortable.
He's like, "No, how are you? Are you still having that sexual dysfunction thing?" Like, dude, shut the fuck up, Hugh.
Are you still wetting the bed? It's like, shut up.
So Culber reports that Maul and Locke used hybridized technology from several species and are only violent when they're required to be, though they don't shy away from violence either. So I don't know what that means. They put themselves in situations where they have to kill people? I don't know about that. Because I don't think they were required to be last episode. They could have left or like taken a bigger deal, but instead they decided to kill all the guards. So
yeah, which is, I don't know. It's just like everyone acts very strange in this. Yeah, because like, why would they kill a guy who is like someone they could easily go back for any other reason? Like, he's like a guy who is like a known buyer of that they sell to. It's just like, well, why would you cut off that line of income for yourself?
Right. Great question.
But
yeah, so Maul is human, but Hugh has no idea what Locke is, or even if those are their real names or where they're from. Zora then displays footage of Maul and Locke's escape. Book realizes that despite having 2 starships on their tail, Maul and Locke took the time to perform a stylish role because they were having fun, free, and he says they're in love. And I'm like, how do you know that?
I'm just filling in the blanks for this script right now.
They call me the love doctor. So
they call me Johnny Exposition. I gotta fill in the blanks on this script because we can't do it normally.
So both of them realize that Maul and Locke are thrill seekers, and Book plans to bait them by giving them a cliff and seeing if they'll jump off.
Yeah, like give them the cliff to see if they'll jump off, or reach out to them, make a deal,
invite them for an orgy.
Why is that never under the discussion? Like, okay,
the Federation doesn't negotiate with terrorists. We're literally just scavengers.
They're literally just scavengers. Yeah, like, why is like they never think to just like meet them on their own terms, which is offer them something.
Right.
I mean, they're the Federation. They have tons of resources. Yeah. They could give them whatever they want. And for some reason, like, that's never in the discussion. It's like, we have to bring these criminals in and punish them.
Yeah. Cool. So
they literally did nothing wrong.
Right. And at the same time, someone who committed a very big crime in defecting and committing sedition against the Federation, Book, is just like... whatever, scot-free.
Scot-free.
So, on Lorik, Saru and Burnham make their way through the jungle. Burnham informs Saru of his Action Saru nickname, which he's already aware of, informing Burnham that it was originally given to him by Jet Reno after his encounter with Zora, not Booker, as Burnham had assumed. Saru reminisces about when
also Action Saru feels like a lazy nickname.
It really does.
That's again, like, you know, sort of like D&D style improv where it's just like nickname Action Saru. You know?
Right. Yeah, I feel like, and they're probably going to use it for a line later in the season, like "Go Action Saru" or something, and then I'm just gonna put the gun in my mouth at that point.
Because I do feel like, they're trying to like do something like Action Jackson, but that rhymes.
Right.
Action Jackson rhymes. Action Saru doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What rhymes with Saru that would actually work? Wood glue Saru.
Wood glue Saru.
Because he's always coming everywhere, and it looks like wood glue, baby. Big Goosearoo.
Big Goosearoo. That's the nickname that his girlfriend gives him.
Big Goosearoo. I think wood glue. It tastes like wood glue too, and you can actually bond wood together with it. It's special to the Krillian species.
Yeah.
So Saru reminisces about when Burnham first came aboard Discovery as an imprisoned and disgraced mutineer. Admitting that, while at the time he thought she was the wrong choice for the job, she made the most of the opportunity, and he is deeply impressed by her accomplishments. He has had this conversation with her at least like 4 times in this series now.
I know. That's one thing I always feel like I'm watching like the same episode play out a lot in these, because I always feel like
there's so many compliments.
Yeah. Like I always feel like these characters are always having the same discussion, and I was like, okay, we've established this. They had some sort of like conflict in the first couple seasons, like especially when Saru was like captain for that while, and they definitely had their sort of run-ins, especially because Burnham's always like done whatever she wanted.
Right. And Saru wants to do things by the book, and she's like, the only thing I'm gonna do by the book is Cleveland motherfucking Booker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But then after that whole dynamic was like put to rest, like I feel like they've had this discussion, this character arc before.
They've been talking about it since like the end of season 2.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I understand, like that's how these two characters feel about each other. That's like kind of like I'm kind of glad they brought Raynor in, because everyone else has had like this hugged it out so much that it's like you can't hug it out anymore. And then now it's just like, okay, we definitely need somebody who kind of like mixes up the dynamic a little with these characters.
I mean, that's a problem too, is like they hug it out, and also like no one faces any consequences, so I don't feel any tension about anything at all. Like I don't know where like the risk is, or really the reward is for like so many characters on the show. I don't even know why they're going after this fucking book and this technology when they don't even know what it can fucking do. It's obviously an ancient technology. There's probably a ton of weird ancient technology from old species out there, and this one's from millions of years old.
Recipe.
Yeah, right? That would be amazing. It's just like, oh shit, I never thought of using beef rib meat. God damn. God damn, they good.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, they're honestly speculating as to, and also what I thought was bizarre is like, like they left behind the Romulan ship. There's nothing in the data banks of that Romulan ship about like, that's the ship that Valak was using. So it doesn't have like a
this log or anything.
Yeah, like a travel log in it to show, like that would probably demonstrate where he's been more than anything.
Right.
Like that was like that. You don't have to answer these riddles 3 every single episode. You can just be like that. That's what because that's what they like. I was like, it kind of ignores like a lot of the obvious stuff like they typically do in Star Trek episodes, which is just like, when other ones like they would have had like an entire team over on the Romulan ship, like clearing expecting the data banks, just like
right. Because I mean, well, that's the thing though, is like other Star Treks are like sci-fi dramas, and this is an adventure drama.
Yeah, it's more the line of
with
like
sci-fi
Star
production.
Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as fantasy as Star Wars, but it's getting there.
Yeah, because like I mean, also it's like 800-year-old technology, and that they live in the future. Even if he had like done something to possibly clear out the memory banks of his logs, like I'm sure they could have done something to recover them.
Sure,
like there's any number of things they could have done. But
they have they have 1,000 years of technology here that they didn't have. Like,
instead, it's like, okay, we got to go around solving riddles for 10 episodes, but.
Riddle time. Well, it's got to be the Indiana Jones of Star Trek or something, which really should have been what Picard was. It should have been Picard doing fucking archaeology things, and that's it.
Honestly, now that you mentioned it, this should have been a Picard season 3.
This should have been Picard season 1.
Yeah, just like
because it has to do
season
with him.
Yeah, a mission that he was personally involved with. Like, because like you think, because like he was there, like he was like, and as a alien archaeology expert, like, you know, he would have found, you know, like, oh, by the way, like, I am now given like the keys to the universe. Basically, I know like the truth, and I'm, you know, that obviously, like, this Valak character, he followed up with that. He was just like, wow, this is interesting. I'm gonna spend my life researching this. And you think like, okay, well, you know, Picard, you know, his duty is always first with him. So of course he would, you know, serve out his time with like Starfleet, but like afterwards he'd been like, oh, I should revisit that whole like progenitor type shit. That
maybe. Instead, he's like, nope, wine. I'm going to make wine. I'm going to go to my family winery, the thing that I hated. Yeah, and did the exact opposite of. I have fond memories of fist fighting my brother there
in the mud, and then my brother and my nephew dying in a fire.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
So
I'm gonna spend my life there.
Burnham complains how it will be difficult to find a new first officer when Saru's gone. Saru offers some advice. He tells Burnham that she is a force and would benefit from someone similar, and suggests Booker because he stands his ground. Whoa! Why? He's a defector. Like, you're just... No one has any fucking loyalty, and you're just going to put them all in command.
Yeah, and it's just like... Yeah, again, this, as we were saying, like, this is like well-tread territory. We need like some other characters to really be stepping up here to offer some sort of like variation, because it's like we've dealt with these two characters for 3 seasons now. It's just like,
you know what would be amazing is if like Saru leaves, you know, he's competent command, but like, and then Booker and Burnham go do an away mission and they just get vaporized and no one on the ship knows how to lead it, and they're like, whoa,
it just explodes.
And Detmer's like, I'm in charge, and the warp core immediately overloads.
The end.
So the conversation is interrupted when Burnham notices skeletal remains of what they speculate were grave robbers, though the decomposition is too great for whoever the beings were to have been killed by Maul and Locke anytime recently. Saru then discovers a giant statue of a hand, and the two captains materialize their phasers before proceeding.
It's funny they treat it like it's like something scary, but it's just like, no, it's
a hand. Sense. Yeah, it's a big hand, and dead people from a long time ago.
The way they were treating it, I thought it was going to be like the remains of like a giant or something.
Right. I mean, this is Indiana Jones, though. This is him taking out his pistol to go any further, you know.
Yeah, and they honestly, but they don't have any cool catchphrases or cool action set pieces.
Right. And no fear of snakes either. No healthy fear of snakes. So aboard Discovery, Adira stares at Tilly and explains that they are happy to have her back, even if only temporary. Tilly is happy to be back, but admits that she feels her place is with Starfleet Academy, although her cadets have not been rising to challenges in the field. She says they're able to complete tasks, yet are not grasping the meaning behind their missions. Adira reassures her that while tasks are concrete, meaning is less so. They add that Tilly's fresh perspective will be good for them. Another just long philosophical conversation there. Great.
Yeah, this is another conversation I felt went on way too long and didn't really say anything.
No, it was just filler talk. You know, just characters, and it wasn't even like character moments or anything, like us getting to know them better or anything about their past or anything. It's just like them waxing poetic on
and just
philosophy.
Just giving you the most blandest like
also compliments speech. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like, you're so good at what you do, and I'm glad you're back. Let's talk about philosophy. God, I love you. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but it's very surface level. It's always like
Yeah, we never see like why they like each other and why they're friends so much. We never see them doing activities or even like coming back from an activity or anything.
I can't even recall of Adira and Tilly even interacting that much.
Season 3, some, but then season 4, she's at Starfleet Academy the whole time,
and I felt like when Adira first came on board, they had more like bonding experience with Stamets more than anything else.
Definitely. They were the only person. Yeah, that's like they're buddies.
Yeah, and that was like the initial like
contentious relationship that turned into a friendship. Yeah.
Yeah, like you know, even though it's the year 3000, I don't understand they them pronouns.
Right.
It's just like, so they had to go through that whole thing, but then they became friends. But yeah, I was just like, wait, when did Adira and Tilly? But I mean,
they're
that's
just friends. Like, I don't know. They watch Invader Zim together. They're that type of thing. So Tilly inquires further, and Adira admits that their thoughts drift back to Gray. While they still love Gray, they admit enjoying being on their own for the first time and do not know how they feel about that. The two notice an alarm detecting a spike in the magnetic field on the planet below. As Saru and Burnham come within 500 meters of their target, they come across a sculpture of a large stone head with 4 eyes. Tilly relays the information about the spike in electromagnetic activity and asks if Burnham sees anything weird. Burnham says no, just as the statue's eyes open and dispense 4 aerial drones. Burnham quips, "Changed my mind," as she and Saru run for cover while the drones open fire. You don't, in a situation that's like life or death like that, you say things like shit or what the fuck, or like you don't like quip back with someone you're talking to on the phone. It's silly. I just don't like that. So Tilly and Adira fail an attempt to recalibrate the transporter around the electromagnetic field so they can beam Saru and Burnham out of danger. The captains cannot safely make it back to the drop zone where they were initially beamed in and are too close to the drones for Discovery to destroy them from orbit.
That's one thing I don't understand is like also it's just like they have to go back to the drop zone. Oh, I guess because there's that field. That field. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah, that works. That's fine. Yeah. They use that a lot in Star Trek.
So I forgot about the field.
Yeah. Without the luxury of time to wait for the security team, the situation begins to look desperate. Things get worse as one of the drones self-detonates in order to damage their cover. The one destroyed drone is replenished immediately. After some confusion on Tilly's part as to whether or not someone lost a foot, which was just... Burnham relays... Yeah,
I thought the way that they communicate, like, I'm losing foot or something, and telling the people that aren't there that, of course, that add some confusion. Like, typically you would say, like, I'm losing my cover.
Right.
But, like, foot, like, has the pause, like, wait, what are you talking about, foot?
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't make any sense. So, Burnham, he's like, oh, sorry, Freudian slip. I like feet. Like, Book, we don't need to know that right now. Burnham's like, I do. I need to know that right now. Burnham relays the urgent need to find a way to shut down the security system's power source. Tilly attempts to identify the source. Lyric's defenses run on. After eliminating the possibility of several guesses, an urgent transmission from the Federation headquarters comes through. It's Captain Rayner from the Antares again, who appears via hologram. He explains that he has been monitoring secure comms with his experience from 30 years in Starfleet, including 7 red directives. He instructs them that this is not a science program, but a people problem. Not a science problem, but a people problem, and they have to think like promillions from 2,000 years ago rather than 32nd century scientists. Tilly and Zora consult the Federation database to learn that the promillions utilize Lime cycle fusion on their ships, but there is no evidence of it from the planet's surface. Do you remember Lime cycles in Seattle?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Lime bikes. Yeah, we had Lime cycles in Seattle, just like the Lime cycle fusion they have on here. I wonder if they paid them for that advertisement.
Yeah, God, those things are so expensive. Like, I think I used one. It was like $10 to go a couple blocks. Yeah, wow. It's like, yeah, that'd be funny. Like, that's why they all died out, because like they tried to go do some deep space exploration and just like ran out of money, and the ship just tripped it off and they all died.
So Rayner encourages them to question what technology the Promillians had available at the planet, or better yet, what they already had there. At Rayner's instructions, Zara searches for other power sources the Promillians used. She goes down the list of a whole bunch of stuff. All present quickly realize that the electromagnetic waves correspond to the electromagnetic field observed on Lyrek, and that must be the power source. Solving the question of the power source may be too little too late, though, as all 4 drones begin to detonate above Saru and Burnham's cover. Making use of the short time they will have before the drones are replenished, they retreat to the cover behind the hand statue. Tilly relays her findings, but Saru finds them to not be useful, and they cannot shut down the electromagnetic field of an entire planet. They have, however, shut down the defense's internal control mechanism, which Burnham realizes must be in the statue's head, which is just so Indiana Jones. She plans to demolish it, but Saru stops her, warning that it could cause a chain reaction that could destroy everything. Instead, he suggests disconnecting the system from its power source. Burnham argues there is not enough time, especially with the drones. Saru comes up with a more expedient plan, using an electromagnetic pulse, which would disrupt the 1,000-year-old system. Burnham's unsure, asks Tilly's opinion. She agrees it's safer, and so they're like, all right. Burnham intends to draw the drone's fire, but Saru insists on going instead, since his reflexes and speed are far superior to a human's. Action, Saru! Here we go. Burnham begs to be the one to do it, but expecting Saru to die, argues that Tarina will be heartbroken, his girlfriend. Saru argues she would want him to perform his duties as expected, and Burnham relents, taking Saru's phaser along with hers.
Again, this is like just hard decision making. Starfleet officers have to do a lot, it's just like,
yeah. And also, it's also the reason you don't put like your most important officers, literally your number 1 and 2 from the ship, on the same away mission. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. You have other people to do this.
Yep.
You take a security officer and maybe one other officer, but what are you doing?
Yeah. They never bring any sort of like just nameless security people, but then again, like most of the bridge crew is almost practically nameless to begin with, because that's a surprise they brought. Was his name Reese? Lieutenant Reese, or Commander Reese. Yeah. There's like 3 commanders now, and like they brought Commander Reese. I was just like, wow, they're actually bringing him to do something.
Well, 3 commanders and 2 captains too, because isn't Saru a captain as well?
I think so. But Reese is a captain. What's her name? Also, Akko. I can't remember her name. I think she might be commander. I think Detmer's a commander as well.
That sounds right, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know their ranks because they don't spend any time on them.
No, they don't.
So Saru makes his way through the forest, and the drones follow, but one heads back. He's struck in the shoulder, but he manages to dodge several blasts and takes cover behind a rock. Burnham makes it to the head statue and sets one phaser inside. The lone drone reaches her location and opens fire, but she is able to destroy it with her remaining phaser before placing it inside as well and running for cover. Saru shoots down the remaining 3 with his quills. Just as replacement drones reach each of the now defenseless officers' locations, the electromagnetic pulse goes off as planned, and the defense is shut off. Tilly and Adira celebrate, and notice Rayner, his work done, has ended his transmission abruptly. He's so rude. Helping them out and then leaving. Burnham calls out for Saru and embraces him when she finds her first officer alive and only slightly injured. Overjoyed that he's lived up to his nickname, she exclaims, "Damn!"
Action Saru.
Incredulous that Saru's idea worked, she thanks him for it. It is now clear to Saru why Dr. Velik chose a Promilian necropolis for his hiding place. It is exceedingly well defended. The two laugh with relief before rematerializing phasers and continuing their search. Stamets has been... Yeah.
I mean, I was about to say, I do like the set piece for this episode. I think like a necropolis is...
It's pretty sick, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, yeah. And especially since like it makes sense that it's so overgrown since no one's been there in nearly 2,000 years.
And that's yeah, one thing I will say about Discovery is it does have great production value. Probably the best of any Star Trek. Like, it looks really good. Yeah, I wish like the tone and consistency matched how good it looks.
Oh yeah.
So
like the writing, the dialogue.
Stamets has been working on his search for the schematic in the diary. Zara is not much help to him with over 2 million possible pattern matches in Federation databases. Book and Culber enter engineering with Book holding a special piece of equipment. Book wants to access a special subspace comms channel he calls Dark Comms, which is like a black Twitter.
He's gonna go to the dark web and
he's gonna buy some mall,
buy some drugs and like get a hitman, which is funny. Like it's like I don't know, like this technology, the whole like I mean, then again, like these everyone basically on Discovery is from the past, so they may not be up to speed with like 3,000 year. The year 3000 type stuff, right. It's just like the fact that there's this dark web type thing, but still it's like they do need Book because he's the only one who knows what's going on,
who knows how to use Tor and a VPN. He's that friend of theirs, the hacker. So he gets onto Dark Comms to reach Locke and Maul. He guesses they are what he calls S5E, which are couriers who take the most dangerous jobs because they love the action and the latinum that comes with them. Stamets asks why they would talk to Book since the two S5E are on the run from Starfleet. Book insists that they will need to unload the diary and hopes to talk with them before they reach Lyrek, failing that at least Discovery crew would learn more about the two. So Book insists that they have to try, and Stamets orders non-essential personnel to clear engineering, so Book can do some hacking. Stamets hides Discovery's location for the call, and Book is sure La'ak and Maul will do the same for their ship. Book begins to transmit to strivers who are itching to sell, claiming he has a boon for those who are, which you know what that means. Book's message goes through, and after a moment, Locke and Maul appear as holograms, offering 2 minutes worth of their attention. Back on Lyrek, Burnham and Saru have reached their target area, but are puzzled to find nothing there. Noticing phaser burn on the ruins only raises more questions. Why would Locke and Maul shoot the ruins if they had found the valuable technology there? Saru finds no readings to indicate there were ever anything of great power at their location. Burnham can only conclude that the inscription in the stone was the next clue to the progenitor's technology, explaining why La'ak and Maul destroyed it. Informed by Tilly that the defense field will be powering up again in a couple minutes, Saru suddenly sees iridescent bacteria glowing in reaction to the radiation from the phaser blast. The bacteria trace the words that were there. Magic bacteria, everybody. Cool.
He uses his special powers of bacteria vision.
Yeah. He's like, I got gonorrhea. It's kind of magic. I don't know.
Gives me these special eyes. Blindness.
Recalibrating her scan for the UV spectrum, Burnham is able to begin translating what she recognizes is Romulan. It says, "Hello, Wanderer. Many worlds have you traveled. Opaline waters call to you. Thoughts are shared." The Romulan seems to point to Beta Z, but as Saru and Burnham both point out, there are only 4 verses, and a Revlav, which is the type of poem it is, has 5. They need to find the 5th verse, but are running out of time. Tilly reminds them the field is coming back up fast. Back up on Discovery, Book identifies himself.
Again, this is also a very mysterious why he would leave a trail. I mean, I guess like he's a Romulan that kind of has like transcended his loyalty to just the Romulan Empire.
Right.
But why he would leave such a kind of like just almost like a child's trace to these secrets of the universe, and not just for like the Romulan Empire itself, is very, very strange.
Quite. So Book identifies himself to Locke and Maul as a former courier like them, but they refuse to sell the diary now that they know what it leads to. Book wants things for himself and only knows that they are running, not to where or from what. He warns them that the diary is dangerous, and only the Federation can keep it safe. They disbelieve he was ever courier, but when he introduces himself as Cleveland Booker, they recognize the name and immediately terminate communications. Their comm signal...
Again, he doesn't offer them anything. It's just like...
Right. Well, he says a big boon, whatever that means.
I mean, sure, like they figured out that it's worth more than they think it is.
But yeah, but they're trying to convince them instead of just sell to them or like buy it from them, which is different.
Also, like, this would seem like almost as if it's almost obscure. They don't know who the progenitors are.
No.
Like, Maul and Locke have no idea. This is like not like the progenitor thing is not a widely known legend or something that most people know about. It's shown like not even like someone from 1,000 years in the past know about the progenitors and everything. Like the progenitor thing isn't like a widely known thing. It was just like
it's in the Federation databases, but like they still have to explain it because it's not like known lore.
Yeah, but like, how would they even know? I mean, if maybe they did translate the whole book, but that's again, that's just like, I think like the Federation's response to them has really convinced them it's worth way more than anything else. Like, and anyone else could read that book and just pass it off as just like the ramblings of a madman, and just like, just some sort of like, like they get led to this thing. It's more of like a sort of like Leonardo da Vinci type creation, where it's just like, this is the coronation of all life. I've made alchemy, and it's just like some stupid thing. Something that doesn't work. I'm just like, okay, well, that's stupid.
Yeah. So Burnham asks Saru what they know about 24th century Romulans, and says during the time of the Empire, Romulan thinkers and scientists often traveled with armed guards. Saru realizes the defense statues are representations of such guards. Their homes are also frequently had false front doors from which they guess that the real entrance may be behind the stone, or rather under it, going through that back door, you know what I'm saying? Talk about that back door. Saru is able to move the stone, and Burnham indeed finds something underneath. Scanning the 5th verse, Burnham realizes that Mole and Lack don't have this part of the clue and are incorrectly on their way to Betazed. Burnham further finds another device hidden in the stone's base. Though they cannot let Maul or Locke find what they have, destroying the sacred site that they may already disturbed enough is out of the question. They decide to simply recover the stone to leave it as they found it, and manage to do so as the security defense field regenerates. Both are beamed out just an instant before a phaser blast hits their location, destroying some of the stone. Back in the science lab, Burnham thanks Tilly, who informs her of Raynor's help. There is no sign of Maul or Locke's ship. Burnham orders that Linus prepare a team of dots to repair the stone monument on the planet and sensors placed in orbit to watch for Maul and Locke's return. Stamets joins them and observes that Saru should see a doctor, and he replies he will soon. Noticing the piece she found on Lyrek is similar to the schematic, Burnham asks Zora to create a programmable matter version of it. The piece from Lyrek fits perfectly with the replicated stone, explaining why Stamets could not find a pattern match previously, as the item was incomplete. Burnham theorizes that the device is a map broken into 5 pieces, and 4 remain. So, God, are we going to have to watch them, like, episode by episode, have to go after these pieces? Because I don't know if I can handle that.
These are, and this is like video game tasks.
Yeah.
Like, these are like,
these are side quests.
Yeah, this is like when you're playing like Zelda or something. They're like, you have to get the pieces of the Triforce, and like it also just reminded me a lot of like Fifth Element. Getting like the the wood, the stone thanes, and then the ancient stone thanes that can summon the shit, and I don't know.
So Saru says the first 4 verses they found suggested Beta Z, but the last verse reads, "A world like no other, where 2 souls intertwine, joined as one. Considering the details from the other verses, Adira realizes the next planet is Trill."
And these are, for a Romulan, these are not hard.
No.
I was just like, Trill.
Yeah.
Because it's like
2 souls. Yeah.
Like these are, the Romulans who pride themselves on spycraft, on secrecy, on codes, on secret talk, on everything. These are incredibly simple.
Honestly, I would have gone for Risa. 2 souls intertwined, joined as one. That's like bumping uglies, right? That's Risa. That's Jamal Rome, baby.
But I was just like, this is like, it's too simple in a way, where it's just like, it's not interesting. I don't know. It's just, but I mean,
what are you gonna do? At least it's not overcomplicated, and it's not like Burnham has to totally decode it with her mind, and she's such a genius for doing so. It's more like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just funny that he went through all this trouble, and it's just like, we're already learning, like, the Romulans are so involved. Like, they're apparently, like, there's like the Romulan secret society that is set to fight all AI in all of its forms. And not only is there like the secret, Romulan nuns who fight, or group who fights AI, there's also this guy who's also unraveled the secrets of the universe and the secret weapon of the progenitors. It's just, I guess you really overuse, I guess, like the Romulans' secrecy to just like tell these stories of just like, just have them fill in for any purpose.
Yeah, because Romulans played a huge part in season 1. Yeah, and then I guess some Romulans played parts, or no, I'm thinking about Picard. Sorry,
yeah, Picard.
No,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
no, it wasn't. No, they had.
But then the Romulan nuns.
Yeah, I mean they had Romulans. The Romulan brother and sister, that was Discovery, right? Or was that Picard?
That was
that was Picard. Yes, fuck.
Yeah, but then Burnham's mom joined the Romulan nuns.
Right. The Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, like, it took them from just like, the Romulans being like this super paranoid secretive society, and now just like having them fill in all these like other roles for whatever purpose, whatever storytelling thing they need.
Don't love it. Don't love it.
Yeah. Don't love it.
Yeah, so in his quarters, book review security footage of Maul and Locke. He has Zora age Maul down to 7 years and 3 months. The image of a young Maul stirs recognition in book.
That would be funny if those 2 cops that came in on Tilly. You're under arrest, buddy.
The computer Chris Hansen voice comes on. Why don't you take a seat, Cleveland Booker?
Yeah. Oh, so what was your plan here today? Why don't you take a seat over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just wanted to look at a hologram to see if you recognized her from 7 years. Okay. Sure. Sure. Well, we have some chat logs proving otherwise.
And what you got there? Pizza? Oh yeah, 6-pack of beer. Okay. Why don't you just leave that on the counter there? All right. Let's talk about these chat logs.
Yeah. Yeah, we see you've been on what was it, the deep communications.
Yeah. You recently just went on the dark web. Oh, that's interesting. What'd you do out there on the dark web?
You're gonna have to confiscate your computer book.
You were in contact with this person on the screen now named Maul. Like, no, she's older now.
So
she told me she was 18.
So as Culber enters and notes this, Book asks him if he believes in fate. He knows her as Maylene. Recognizing her from her birthmark he had only seen in holo images before. She's the daughter of his mentor, Cleveland Booker IV, which makes her the closest thing to family Book has left. Oh, that's not family. You don't know him at all.
So now we're just going to also so we're going to carry this other plot thread because like we had like what was his brother or nephew or whatever from
he's
season
dead,
4.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but like that was the whole thing, like where he lost him, and and then also his child because he also had a kid, and so we have to do the storyline again.
Yes.
Like
roll it back.
Roll it back.
Roll it back. Play it again.
It's like how many more story? So we're going to be doing Burnham and Book again, Book and his family members again, and it's like, can we see some other characters going on, like other story dynamics?
No. So Discovery returns to Archer Station, and Burnham visits Saru as he packs his things. He tells Burnham he believes he's ready for his wedding, having passed through Vahari from a life of fear to one of hope. On the day he died, he was not afraid because Burnham was with him. He thanks her, but Burnham says the honor of serving with him was all hers. Saru advises her to continue forward and thinks that the process of giving himself over to the journey has great meaning in itself. He then advises Burnham to not touch the swamp kelp while it is in bloom. Burnham knows and thanks Saru for giving her a second chance as the two embrace. Another really wrought, emotional moment thing here, which...
Yeah, I don't know.
Have one per character. Have Saru talk to someone else, please.
Very few characters have any chemistry with each other on this, where it's just like, just sort of like a nature where a feeling where they've known each other a lot and like, and I just, because the disingenuous therapy speak all the time, like this whole like discussion, like the Saru and Burnham going through this chat. I swear to God, I think we could probably go through and like superimpose them all on top of each other and all be the same discussion.
It's weird because I feel like the dynamic is like they're coworkers who are not friends with each other, but they are deeply emotionally invested with how they are. And I'm confused about it.
Also, I feel they are supposed to be friends. Like
they're supposed to be. Well, we don't see them being friends ever anywhere. We see them talking to each other in a professional setting about how much they enjoy each other.
And this is, again, why it should have been a more ensemble type production, because like those, where you allow other characters to take sort of like the center stage for a moment and then like allow them to, see other characters and their personal relationships and how they interact with other people. And then when it changes, we get to see, let it build naturally as it has with like our other series. And I don't feel like this is how loud it is because again, like a lot of these are like telling you instead of showing you, because a lot of this time is just spent on especially these last 3 seasons, like this, relationship between Book and Burnham, and then like whatever the DMA was like took up so much time.
Yeah.
That last thing. It's just like it always has to be focusing on the big baddie of the season.
Right. The big thing they have to solve. And
I feel like it's not something that's like unheard of, considering we had like the Dominion War, and also we had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer seasons always define themselves by whoever the big bad was of the season.
Yeah, at the same time, like like if you made Buffy the exact same way today, I think it might be a failure because like the writing is super outdated. It's like it's campy in a way that's not popular anymore.
But still, it's like it told time to tell other stories from other perspectives, even with like a central character as Buffy. Like
true.
We had more natural character interactions with each other, and I feel like that's kind of like missing a lot from this because I mean I don't know about other people. I don't feel too much connection. I mean I definitely know like the actors who play Stamets, and Ricky or Hugh, his husband. They've been in a lot of other things, and of course Doug Jones. Doug Jones. I feel like a lot of like the familiarity with the characters comes from those characters' other roles. It's just like because I know Stamets, the guy who played Stamets from so much stuff. I think he was in Rent. Of course, Hugh was Ricky from My So-Called Life. Doug Jones has been everything, and so it's just like
fucking the guy who plays Culber, Wilson Cruz. He's in Party Monster. He's the guy who gets murdered in Party Monster, and I can never unsee him as that for some reason. So later, Burnham finds Vance brushing up on his geometry. She asks about the inquiry into Raynor, and Vance reveals he asks him to take an early retirement. Burnham defends Raynor as someone who always did what he thought was right for the Federation. Vance agrees he's a good captain and it's a shame, but the world has changed and Raynor won't see it. Burnham finds Raynor admiring Discovery on observation deck while contemplating his career and course retirement. She informs him that while they have not found the progenitor's technology, they know where to head next. Burnham is impressed with Raynor's accomplishments and reviews his awards. But Raynor says they're only trinkets. It's what you do in the chair that matters. Take a shit. As he always tells his crew to get out of their own heads and think like they're enemies, he agonizes that he should have done the same and seen the potential consequences on the Arrakis planet.
Also, this is like the most authentically type Star Trek type.
Yeah, this actually feels like a real Star Trek moment. Like it is like kind of an emotional thing, but it's like about, a captain like not changing with the times, and it's kind of a Jellicoe situation. I mean, he wasn't wrong, but he wasn't right.
Realizing his faults that he took, and then like how it's weighed on him, and just those consequences for his actions.
Yeah. So he has consequences. This guy gets consequences. No one else in the series. So Burnham believes he should have told all of this to the Inquiry. She wants him to be her number one because the mission and the Federation matter to him, and has already gotten Vance's support in choosing him. Recalling how she herself was given a second chance, he says this is his. He warns her that he is not a yes man, but that is what Burnham is counting on. With that, Raynor zips up his uniform, ready to head for duty. End of episode. I actually liked the ending of this episode.
Me too.
I didn't like it overall, but I like the decision to make Raynor her number one instead of Book, because Book would have been a terrible, like, you just keep on fucking up here. Just, go for it. You're promoted again.
Yeah, it's because as you're saying, it obviously needs some sort of like differing point of view from just like, just agreeing to everything.
Yeah.
She does. I also feel like this character is sort of like a response to just like the popularity that Captain Shaw had in Picard season 3.
I think you're completely right. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Because like, we need another hard ass with a heart of gold. And so it's just like, all right, let's give him this guy. And yeah, I think he does have that sort of like, he's by the book, but he also has sort of a roguish charm to him. But
it does.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. See how he fits in, because I think it's interesting. Like, it definitely break up like a lot of the just the repetition that's in these episodes.
Right.
Like, have someone new come in.
Do you know what race Captain Raynor is? Because he's got like Vulcan ears, but they look snipped or something.
I was looking. I actually looked it up because, like, he's actually from a race that was in an episode of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Let's see. Can't remember the name. Let me had it on one of my pages that I was researching. I was doing like some research during the episode because, like, initially I thought he was a Vulcan.
Yeah, me too.
And then I was like, maybe he's wrong. And then I noticed his ears were different. Race. Discovery.
Anything?
Yeah, I had it.
Oh no. It's the worst feeling.
I know. Species. The Kelleran.
Kelleran. Okay.
Yeah, an obscure species from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Okay, interesting. Good to know. That's cool that they brought back a race from DS9. I support that.
I support it.
Cool. Yeah. So, what did you think of this episode overall?
It was good. I like the necropolises are always very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like a race in 40K that's like basically a race of people that are just live on a necropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, because like when they first said necropolis, I was imagining it was their sort of home world where it's just like completely barren and evil looking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pleasantly surprised that it was actually like a sort of like green, you know, of course, because that makes sense. Like, of course, it would be overgrown and have a lot of like nature that's unchecked because like there's literally nobody that's been to this planet in 2,000 years. So
yeah,
like,
for sure.
So yeah, like nature's sort of reclaimed this planet, and except for the occasional grave robber that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like they're sort of like free from that sort of like thing. But yeah, I like the set piece. Didn't really care for, of course, a lot of like the really just repetitive story arcs that we keep going through.
Right.
Like,
Saru,
I don't know,
Booker, yeah.
Because like I don't think they've like just the characters don't feel developed fully like as other characters have, and I do feel that
because they don't take the time to develop them or like have them doing anything that isn't their job.
Yeah, because like they spend so much time. Every single episode just is like this mad dash to just like do whatever like is the big bad of the season. So there's no like downtime for anyone to just like actually have any of these like character moments that really
can't
like
have
build
a fucking
friendships.
Yeah, I want a future holodeck episode. I want to see what their holodecks do.
Yeah, like we don't have any of the typical things like the holodeck episode, like the cave episode. like you know, time where they got to be in the Old West for some reason.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, or a Sherlock Holmes. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they did. I think there was like a season 1 episode where they find like a planet that's exactly like Earth for some reason. But like not enough. We don't have enough of those episodes. You know, we don't. You know, have an episode where they go and there's like the Easter Bunny for some reason. You know,
yeah, or they find Satan on some planet. And he's the good guy.
I mean, we did have like one of the episodes in I think the first season where with Mud, and he was just killing everybody and really
And Rainn Wilson has actually directed a couple episodes of Discovery.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, we definitely need more of those sort of like just character heavy episodes, just like just to really cement our just like our how, you know, us caring about these characters, because like when they do these like overwrought emotional,
it's not earned.
You know, yeah, therapy speeches, I'm like, I don't fucking give a fuck. Like just like I don't
at least they're not literal therapy sessions like they were last season. I'm sure they'll get into some actual therapy here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You look at like, you know, newer series like Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, like we have a better concept of who those characters are,
right? Because they spend time on them and give them their own episodes. Yeah,
they give them some sort of weight, you know, some actual character weight that to exist in these spaces, and I don't feel just the nature of how these how this is written, it doesn't really give the characters the space to do that.
No, which is weird because they have so much space. They're in space.
They're in space.
They're in space. They should have the space to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just to see where it goes. Yeah. I love Doug Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Love a lot of the people on this. So
yeah, I'd give this episode. I don't know. I liked it more than the last episode, but I'd still give it a 6.5.
Yeah. I mean,
that's false.
There's a lot to be desired a lot of the times. But,
yeah. I guess we'll see where it goes. That's all we can do. That's what we do on this podcast.
We need to bring back Fred.
Yeah, bring back Fred. Bring back
Fred. We need a Soong type android to really get things cooking.
Hell yeah, that's what makes Star Trek spicy.
Yeah, I keep expecting that. I think his body is still on the ship. They still stole his corpse.
Yeah, they stole his fucking corpse. Yeah.
So there's still time for him to come back online and really just like.
And the fucking cops down on that planet are going through and like, yeah, someone came and like killed all those henchmen, but then like kidnapped him, and so they're looking for a guy who's dead up on a Star Trek ship. Like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, his children are like, "Where is our father? Please find him."
Yeah, not happening.
Not happening.
Yeah,
Fred's dead.
It was all right. I guess I'd recommend the first 2 episodes if you're interested in Star Trek Discovery. You'll probably like them. If you're not, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say? I mean, looking forward to more Indiana Jones, Fifth Element.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we can expect at this point.
Yeah. And I guess that's a great place for us to leave it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We've been Soy Trek. I've been Comrade Britt.
And I've been Pat.
If you'd like to support us, please go to patreon.com/dumbidiotbs or like, rate, and subscribe to us on any platform you listen to podcasts on.
Please do.
Yeah.
And also look forward. Look at our profiles. We'll have links to the Slut Trek Assimilation, which you can buy tickets to and see us in May.
End of May, right near Boston.
Yeah, right near Boston. Come and you can see us and see a good show and talk to us, and we'll be hosting it.
Buy some merch. Yeah, you can meet your heroes, Soy Trek, the people you've always wanted to meet. Those guys you listen to make cum jokes about Star Trek every week. You're really rearing to meet us.
Yeah. Just please don't hurt us. Just
unless like it's a sexual hurting, in which case I might be into it. I might be into it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just ask. Just
direct
ask.
all that towards Brit.
Yeah. All right.
Give us snacks if you want.
Well,
right. Thanks for trekking with the soy boys, girls, and woodley beans.
Hang dong.
Ding dong.
And shocker.
Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy.
Welcome to interviews. In a very large. Today. My guest. My good friend. Patrick. Who's not in the cave?
Yeah, I'm actually coming in from outside the cave. You should come out here. You're looking kind of pale. Like maybe you should. There's the sun shining out here.
Let me be in my cave.
Just keep watching.